Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jenny. No.
I'm in a good mood.
Every Monday for like 7 weeks, what you do? Now I need you to do that right now.
How about them Lakers? How about me winning 2 more cases of Diet Mountain Dew, the Breakfast of Champions for Friday night? You bet me 3 cases that your Lakers would win at Boston. I said, no, they won't. They got blown out. I gave you a case yesterday, but if I had known that Amari and Tyron Smith were not going to play, there's no way I would have bet you.
You knew Amari wasn't going to play because he's unvaccinated. You did know that.
I did not know that, and you're down 2 more cases of Dew. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Somehow when you say, how about them Lakers, it
Yeah, you see,
that genuine feel that I'm used to. We could say, how about them Vikings, though?
Yeah, you did it.
That was pretty fun for me. And, you know, the Cowboys, we just can't say it today. We will get to them in just a bit. But first, we have to start with LeBron because it was a wild, drama-filled night for Shannon's guy. The Lakers beat the Pistons 121-116. But that's not the story. The big story of the night was LeBron being ejected in the third quarter after he threw a seemingly inadvertent elbow that bloodied the face of Detroit big man Isaiah Stewart. So Stewart had to be then restrained by teammates and arena officials and was also ejected from the game. And afterward, Anthony Davis defended LeBron for his role in the incident, saying, quote, everyone in the league knows LeBron is not a dirty guy. This escalated real quick. Shannon, was this dirty or not dirty?
It was not a dirty play. I understand, Skip. And we talked about it last week, Skip. When I was growing up, guy got injured. We automatically assumed it was a dirty play. Look, and I do this all the time, Skip, and you've heard me say it since I've been on here. Intent only matters to LeBron. Isaiah Stewart still was leaking. And so for me, Skip, it looked to me, they're at the free throw line, they're jockeying for position. Isaiah Stewart has they're trying to fight for position. And we've all been in this. If you played sports, get your hands off me. And he didn't hit him with his elbow, he back-fisted him. So it was his fist that caught Isaiah Stewart right in the corner of his eye, and it opened up a wound. Now, it opened it up, Skip. No denying that. And LeBron should have been ejected. That is a flagrant 2. I tweeted at the time, they're probably going to toss LeBron for this. When you go back, Skip, and you look at it in slow motion, yeah, it looks really, really bad. And LeBron James deserved to be ejected from the ball game for a flagrant 2. But I do not believe LeBron James intentionally hit this man in his face. They're fighting for position. It happens all the time. And you're trying to get his hands down on the free throw line, trying to get position. He's trying to get your hands down, arms down, trying to gain position. And in the process, LeBron's like, man, get your hands off me. It's happened before. So for me, no, I do not think it was a dirty play. I think it was a play that LeBron should have been ejected. But all this grandstanding that Stewart was doing, LeBron James was standing closer than what you and I are today. That's how close LeBron was. If he wanted to take off, he could have took off. It wasn't until everybody tried to restrain him. Let me go, man. Let me go. Let me at it. Okay, I'm good, man. I'm good. Let me at him again. Bro, LeBron was standing right there in front of you. He turned to you and say, my bad. I didn't mean to do that, bro. My bad. He's standing face to face with Isaiah Stewart. If Isaiah Stewart really wanted to take off, he'd have took off on him. But that's not what he wanted. He wanted to do all that fronting and pretending. And I get, Skip, the similarity. Different locations, same team. The Pistons. We know what happened in the Pistons. What was that, 2005, somewhere around 4?
Yeah.
Somewhere around that time.
Almost to the day. It's just 2 days after.
Yeah. So, Skip, we get all that. But for me, you can't automatically assume, Skip, if something egregious happens, that it was an intent. It was an intentional act that LeBron says, okay, I'm going to get your hands off me. I'm going to hit you in your face. That's what intent has to be. I don't believe in LeBron intentionally. It happened. Isaiah Stewart was still bloody. And like I said, and it shouldn't have been once he saw the blood, he looked up at the Jumbotron, he saw the blood, saw his face. That shouldn't have been it. If you thought LeBron James did that on purpose, when he was standing right there, you should have took off on him. You didn't. You did all that fronting, pretending like you wanted to get at somebody, and you weren't trying to get at nobody.
Interesting. Okay, my first issue with everything you just detailed was, if it's not dirty, why did the refs take one quick look at it? It was under a minute, and they threw him out with a flagrant 2. How can a flagrant 2 not be dirty?
Skip, here's the thing. Yeah, Skip, it was... I think what we're conflating the two. Skip, you look at the replay. You see LeBron hit the man with his fist in the back. Okay, boom, you're gone. You didn't have to look at it because, as a matter of fact, Scott Foster said it was a hostile act even before he took it. Even before he looked at it, he said it was a hostile act. So they didn't really need to look at the replay because Scott Foster was looking right at it to begin with. That's how. Okay, continue on.
Okay, so I still don't get how that's not dirty, because it is dirty. It's flat out. The referees confirm quickly, dirty play. Unnecessary and excessive contact above the shoulder. That's called a dirty play.
Skip, okay, it's unnecessary.
Okay.
But if we're fighting in the scheme of things,
Okay.
Skip.
All right, so here's the problem. If somebody is jostling you, elbowing you in the chest, you fight low. You fight below the neckline. You push their arm away. Okay, LeBron James had a second to gather himself. He closed his fist. Did he not close his fist?
Goodness.
This was not open-handed. If you're just trying to shove somebody, you do it with an open hand. He closed his fist, and he looked at the man, looked at him right in the face.
No, he didn't.
And he led with his elbow, and I'm still convinced it's almost quicker than the eye. I think the elbow caught Isaiah above the eye first, because he led with his elbow and then continued on and got him with his forearm and the back of his fist across the face, and he also hit him in the mouth. And it took 5 stitches to close the wound, and obviously it started to gush blood. And again, I think Isaiah Stewart was so dumbfounded by just getting cold-cocked, cheap-shotted by LeBron James, the face of the league, who has no track record of anything dirty in his whole career, that he was stunned. He dropped to his knees for a second. He got up, and LeBron is approaching him like, hey, man, like I didn't mean to. I don't know what he said.
That's what he said.
But Isaiah said something back to him, and then all of a sudden LeBron took exception, and that's when it should have gone down, right then and there.
Okay.
And I believe that Isaiah Stewart, who boxed competitively when he was in high school, would have gone as long as LeBron wanted to go. And I believe that LeBron needed some kind of police protection to get to the bus, because that young man, who's all of 20 years of age, wanted a big old piece of the face of the
Well, you just said it. He was right there. It should have gone down.
Okay,
so why didn't it?
Okay, he's dumbfounded. He's cold-cocked. He's blindsided. And he's shook because he got concussed, man. He got rocked.
So,
that was a shot to the face. And it was elbow, forearm shiver, and back of fist.
I think he caught him with his back fist.
But it was aimed. It was up high. It was to the face. LeBron should be suspended. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. But the point is that it was, again, out of nowhere, a shot from LeBron James. But what was the circumstance? They're down 79-67. They're down 12 points with 9:18 left in the third quarter. And the handwriting on the arena wall was, you guys are in trouble again. You're about to get embarrassed again. LeBron had scored all of 10 points with 1 rebound at that point. 10 points, 1 rebound. He did have 5 assists. I'll give him that. But only 1 rebound. He was not playing at a high level with high energy. He knew his team was in trouble. He got frustrated that this kid was fighting him. And again, he's in the third stall up. You know, like he's completely away from the basket because Carmelo was below in the first stall, right?
Correct, yes.
And so Isaiah's in the middle, and they're jostling, and it's a made free throw. The ball swishes, so it didn't even matter. The play was defunct. It was over, and all of a sudden, LeBron just couldn't take it. His frustration boiled over, and he popped the kid right in the face.
I knew you were going to go for that, and that's what I said. I said that on Twitter. You was going to say LeBron, they would lose it, and LeBron James says, I don't want to be a part of this. It's textbook, the way you do it. And guess what? You're wrong.
I didn't say he tried to get thrown out.
Yeah,
I just say he boiled up. His frustration boiled over.
He didn't want to be a part of it.
First time in his life, he saw it coming.
So what did he see coming?
That they're going to lose again. They got rocked at Boston. They got blown off the floor by Boston in the third and the fourth quarters.
So was this going to be the first time they had lost a game this year?
No, they were about to fall to 8-9.
Okay,
you like that?
If they fall to
8-9,
wow. So what's the difference between 8 and 9? What's the difference between 8 and 9 and 10 and 8?
What's the difference?
Yes, what's the difference?
You're the Los Angeles Lakers that everybody picked to win the West.
You're still the Lakers, but you still haven't told me the difference. One game in November isn't going to make a difference.
You're about to lose to the Detroit Pistons, featuring a 20-year-old at center and a 19-year-old at point guard, the first pick in the draft, who was a disaster yesterday, as he's been many games, Cade Cunningham.
But guess what, Skip?
They're 4-11.
Okay.
4-11. That they've beaten Houston. Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
And they've lost to OKC. So your point is what? They were frustrated about what?
They were stinking it up again.
But did they?
They're about to get blown out by Detroit.
And then what happened?
Okay, they roared back. And then I'm glad you brought that up, because the shame of this, the double shame of this, was that the Los Angeles Lakers, the once proud Lakers, actually had to stoop out of desperation to say, we turned our season around. We sucked it up and we gutted it out and we fought back against the Detroit Pistons. You should be ashamed. I thought maybe if you had any objectivity at all, you would come in here and say, you know what, I can't even stomach this anymore. That they're taking solace from this, as if the face of the league, who was completely in the wrong, who pulled off a dirty, cheap shot of a play on Isaiah Stewart, that he was suddenly the hero of this. We've got to do it for Laura. You're kidding me. You're going to do it for the guy who cheap-shotted a 20-year-old?
Is he your teammate or not?
Wow.
Is he your teammate or not?
How can you be inspired by that?
Is he your teammate or not?
I think the Lakers didn't even know what happened, because it happened so fast. Unless you studied the replays, you didn't know how cheap it really was, just how dirty it was. And for them to say, it was Vogel to say incidental contact. Incidental? He aimed it.
No, he did not aim it. Stop saying that. Because you make it seem, because you said LeBron looked at him, turned around, looked at him in his face, and then hit him in his face. He did not do that, Skip.
Yeah, he did. He looked right at him.
No, he did not.
Closed fist.
Nope.
That's all you need to know. Closed fist.
Skip. That's what you're doing, Skip. When you turn around, when you're trying to get somebody's hand, you're jockeying for position. They're trying to get their arms in position to box you out. You're trying to do the same thing. LeBron James tried to swipe the man's arms down. He hit him in his face. Yes, he should have been ejected. But given Bron's history, you give him the benefit. Has LeBron ever done anything like this before?
Nope, he has not. But this has to be taken in and of itself. I've never done anything like this before, but if I walk down the hall here at Fox and I suddenly cold cock a guy, I should be held to the letter of the law.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You can't say that, because you can't say, well, if I did on the football field, if I did what somebody did on the football field, if I did that person to walking down the street, that's a totally different situation. You have to look at the situation. Yes, if anybody walking down the hallway hits somebody, they're going to be held to the letter of the law, and you're going to lose your job. But in basketball or sporting events, that's different than in the outside world. So I just want to know, how many times have a guy received a flagrant 2 and been suspended?
Well, he should be suspended.
No.
I don't know.
But you say the letter of the law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There have been guys that got flagrant 2s, got ejected. The ejection in and of itself is the punishment. Mm-hmm. But you want to go outside of the scope. Why? Because it's LeBron.
No, it should be anybody who started something like that. And again, Isaiah Stewart should be suspended also. It should be like 2 games to 3 games.
Well, he's going to be, I think he'll be suspended for not leaving the court in a timely manner. I think that's what his suspension is going to be. Because, Skip, you know, they give you a tech. They want you to promptly, the security normally comes out, grab you, and they take you to the locker room. But because he did not leave the court in a timely manner, I think he's probably going to get a game. I'm going to be surprised if LeBron gets a game, because even though it was a flagrant 2, he was ejected. I do not think he did it in person, on purpose.
Okay. Yet they do play at Knicks on Tuesday night,
Correct.
So that should probably keep LeBron out of harm's way with the league. But we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Now let's go back to Carmelo after the game. I was watching on the local broadcast here, and he's saying, hopefully we can look back at this game as the one that changed our momentum for the season.
Right.
So what did I see at the end of this game? They had roared back to win the fourth quarter 37-17. And it was highly impressive until you think about the competition, the 4-11 Pistons. In the fourth quarter, what happened in the fourth quarter, if I could ask, to the Pistons? They shot 3 for 18. They were 1 of 6 from 3. And roaring back came your Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes.
And with about was under a minute, about 50 seconds left. Could we see the sequence in which your man Anthony Davis wound up guarding Cade Cunningham, who had a miserable fourth quarter as he had a whole miserable game? Blocked his jumper, his three-point shot, and then he said, okay, I'll just drive it in here, and that was stupid, and that got blocked.
The time's running down. He ain't got no choice.
Okay, but it's just a bad idea. It's two bad ideas against a 6'10 guy. So here comes Russ down, and he gets a little opening and dishes it to AD, and Russ played very well in the fourth quarter.
He played unbelievable
against the Detroit Pistons.
Yes.
And look at this. They are celebrating. If we could see it one more time, they're celebrating like they just won Game 7 of the finals. I've never seen anything like this against the Pistons, who had them down 15 after 3 quarters, 17 early in the fourth quarter.
You know what that reminds me of, Skip? Kind of reminds me of your Cowboys. How they celebrate every game like it's the Super Bowl. That's what it reminds me of, huh? And you find that pathetic. You found that pathetic.
The Lakers won the championship 2 years ago.
Well, unlike your Cowboys, hadn't won anything in 25 years.
Right.
But okay.
Thank you. Look at this. They're chest bumping. I fell out of my chair over that. You are celebrating because you came back to win a game that you should have won by 20 points.
Why should they have won it by 20 points?
Because the Pistons are horrible and they're babies.
Yeah.
They're led by a 20-year-old and a 19-year-old.
And guess what?
Isaiah Stewart made the all-rookie team last year. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he'll ever even be an all-star, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
And he plays his tail off every night.
Yes.
And I'm still not sure about Cade Cunningham because I said before the draft, I think Jalen Green will be a little better. I'm not even sure if either one of them are ever going to be an all-star type player.
Right. But he had a triple-double last night.
Look at what he shot. Could you tell the folks what he shot? 6 of 21 from the floor and 1 of 9 from 3.
But it's a triple-double.
That's a Jason Kidd Memorial triple-double, and that's why I've always said the triple-double should at least require 20 points instead of 13 points,
you
right?
Can't do that.
Well, that's the way you should do it. So the point is, all I heard was the Lakers raving about their comeback, and I'm thinking it has come to this for your Lakers. Your once proud Lakers are doing handsprings over a game at Detroit on an early Sunday evening.
Skip, I said that. Is that our season has gone so poorly that we have to be impressed and pleased with a come-from-behind victory against Detroit. But that's what, Skip, that's where the Lakers are currently. That's where they are. Yes, this season has been a major disappointment thus far. Now, we don't know how it's going to end, but thus far, 17, 18 games into the season, I think all Laker fans, even the Lakers themselves, will say this has been a major disappointment. And it has been. When you have the level of talent that they have, yes, most of them are a little older. The most talented players are a little older. It still is unacceptable for them to have the record that they have. But with that being said, back to our originally scheduled program about LeBron. Skip, LeBron should have been ejected. Whether he intended to do it or not, that was a flagrant 2 foul. So he's ejected. But also, and again, I love to say this, intent. Intent matters to LeBron because LeBron said, man, I didn't mean to do this. And I don't believe he did. But Isaiah Stewart is still just as bloody, still as frustrated because of what transpired. And I can, Skip, if I'm Isaiah Stewart, I'm going to be livid also. I'm going to be livid also because when somebody hits you in your face, you don't think it's an accident. Like, bro, of all the places you could have hit me, this is where you caught me. So I get Isaiah Stewart's level of frustration. I would be equally frustrated, but I'm not going to go back and forth and back and forth. If I had felt that you had did it on purpose, hey, just run off.
The only reason he didn't immediately throw fists in retaliation was it wasn't Dwight Howard who did it. If it had been Dwight, I promise you fists would have flown. It was LeBron James, who has no track record of this, but did do it.
Yes,
and it took him a few seconds to realize, what? You just busted me right in the face?
Right.
And you're walking up to me like it's no big deal?
No, Skip, I'm walking up to you trying to explain, bro, my bad. I didn't mean to do that, bro. We was fighting for position.
And once it sank in, he went berserk. And once it sank in deeper and deeper, they could not restrain him. The Lakers were very fortunate that it took all the coaches, and the whole coaching staff was like doing Jeff Van Gundy tackling of him around the legs. Dwayne Casey tackling him around the legs that looked like Dwayne somehow cut his own hand. And it took all of his teammates, it took all the King's horses and all the King's men to restrain him. And the point was, I'm looking at relief on all the Lakers' faces because the last thing they wanted to deal with was that raging bull getting loose and getting into the middle of them, because it would have been up to AD and who else was up there? Maybe
DJ.
Dwight.
DJ.
I didn't see Dwight, actually.
Dwight Howard was on the bench.
Okay.
And because I went back and listened to it after the thing, and the PA announcer, everybody please stay in your seats. Please stay in your seats. The last thing that you want to skip. The NBA cannot ill afford to have another situation like that.
But the last thing the Lakers wanted was for him to get loose, because I promise you some more blood would have gotten spilled.
Well, Skip, look, in a situation like that, the adrenaline is pumping. And that's why I say when you get a man, especially a professional football player, basketball player, Skip, and his adrenaline get going, it's hard as hell to restrain him.
Yep.
It's hard.
And when they finally did subdue him and they escorted him up the tunnel, he broke free again and made a hard left running full speed to the locker room, hoping to
come back
circle completely back around. And so all the officials immediately notify the Laker bench, be careful, he may come out on the other side, right?
Right.
That's how out of control he was at that point.
Yeah, he's frustrated. I get his level of frustration.
So do
because I got, you get hit in the face. Because at the time, Skip, I'm not like, damn, bro, you just hit me in the face, bro. And so, LeBron is trying to explain, bro, my bad. My hand got a little high. We were fighting for position. Bro, I ain't trying to hit you in your face, bro. LeBron is trying to explain it to him because that's the LeBron how he is. Now, if that was been back in the day, the 80s, ain't nobody offering you no explanation, Skip. You covered the game in the 80s and 90s, ain't nobody offering no explanation. Oh, well, you just got hit in the face. You remember when Karl Malone opened up a 44-inch stitch gash over Isaiah Thomas's eye?
He did.
And didn't apologize.
And I was there the night way back when Kermit Washington completely lost a running start and hit Rudy as hard as he could right in the jaw and nearly killed him. And I was on hospital watch at Sentinella Hospital the rest of the night, hoping that Rudy could just make it through the night, and thank God, I'm knocking on wood, he did.
I'm glad they don't let him fight like this.
Okay, I kept thinking as I'm watching this live, if he gets loose, we could have another Kermit Washington moment.
Well, you remember when Kareem punched Kent Benson?
Yeah, he did.
And broke his hand.
He did.
I mean, there have been a lot of situations, Skip. Obviously, the NBA got away from that, and I'm glad they did. But Skip, I'm not saying, I don't get Isaiah Stewart level of frustration. In a situation like that, bro, you hit me in my, I'm like, damn, bro, really? So, but I do not believe LeBron act was egregious. I do not believe he intended to do it. But that doesn't matter to Isaiah Stewart. It only matters to LeBron. But he's not going to get suspended.
Dirty.
There you go. And stop saying that.
Don't think he's a dirty guy.
That is dirty as a guy.
So let me ask you a question. Was Logan Thomas play on Dak Prescott dirty?
Logan Thomas?
Logan Ryan.
Oh, Logan. Oh, yeah. Logan Ryan.
Was that play dirty?
It was like a front horse collar.
No, it wasn't a front horse collar. All he did was
got him by the pads and yanked him down front ways.
No mercy. In a highly anticipated shootout between Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes, neither quarterback threw a touchdown as the Chiefs won 19-9 against the Cowboys. Dak threw a pair of picks, lost a fumble, and was sacked 5 times in the defeat. So, Shannon, who is most to blame for the Cowboys' loss?
This $85 million man. Because Skip Bayless has told me, and Jerry says, hey, Mike McCarthy is doing a great job with clock management, although I can debate that, Skip. In the second quarter, Skip, late in the ball game when you got 2 timeouts and you're still scrambling, you should have called one of those timeouts. Dak throws an interception. CeeDee Lamb bangs his head. He's lost for the entirety of the second half. But, Skip, this was Dak Prescott's opportunity to go head-to-head with a big gun, Patrick Mahomes. He did a very good job, but he came up short going against Brady. Now, he's had an opportunity this year to go up against 3 big guns. He's 2-1. He did a good job against Justin Herbert. We saw what he did. He was phenomenal last night, Skip. But this was Dak's opportunity. I don't want to hear anything about who wasn't there. Doesn't matter about that, because Aaron Rodgers went on a short week to Arizona without his top 3 weapons, missing offensive linemen, missing defensive players, and came away with a victory. So don't tell me about Ty Smith. I don't want to hear about Amari. I don't want to hear about CD going out of the ball game. He gets paid as a big game quarterback, so he got to deliver big game performances. 9 points, Skip Bayless. He couldn't even get the ball in the end zone. 0 for 2 in the red zone with an opportunity to get Tubbs, and he come away with 9 points. The defense did their part. Because he turned the ball over late early, and the defense says, nah, you're not getting in the end zone. You're not going to get there. Picked him off, strip sack. No, the defense was phenomenal. Now you tell me, this is the number one offense in football, the number one scoring offense. And I've always said this, I'm a firm believer in this. It does not matter where you're ranked. Can you do what you need to do when you have to do it? Well, you just need it. How about give us 16? You average 32, give us 16 and put some pressure on Kansas City. You average 455 a game. Can you give us 350? He couldn't do any of that yesterday. First half stats for Dak Prescott. 13 of 21, 68 yards, an interception. 3.2 yards per attempt. Is that worth $75 million? Well, let's go to the third quarter. 7 of 10, 70 yards. Really, Skip? And then the fourth quarter, game's out of hand. Up the calories again. 8 of 12, 78 yards of INT. Now, they keep telling me they left Dak in a blowout against the Broncos to get some timing. They tell me they left him in against the Falcons to get some timing. Okay. Timing should have been on point. Started the game, what did he do with Michael Gallup? Yeah. This is why I would refuse to concede the division to you. Because I told you it was just going to be a matter.
You were close.
No.
At one point you did. I said, no.
I knew it was just going to be a matter of time that Cowboys would do Cowboy things. It's not over yet.
I was actually like Jerry Reinsdorf with Scottie Pippen. No, don't sign it. Don't sign it. I had to talk you out of conceding that bet.
I'm glad you did.
Thank you.
Now, I got a hunch or a feeling that you're not going to mention this, so I feel I give it to it at home.
Have I spoken yet?
No. I just say I got a feeling. I ain't say what you're going to say. I just say I got a feeling.
Well, the show's almost over.
No. I'm going to turn to you right here. Here's the Skip. QBR. Pro Football Focus say QBR on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the highest, 0 is the bottom. You want to know what Dak Prescott?
I know exactly what it was.
Tell the people at home,
It was a big old 1-0.
A what?
10. A 10.
A 10.
That's 1/10 of 100, right? That's what it was. He was a 10, and I'm not even sure he deserved the 10. I was surprised he got it that high.
Well, if you were, you got a Vanderbilt degree, you know the Harvard of the South, that's what you call it. If you were
actually, Harvard is the Vanderbilt of the North. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if
you got to get that right.
Okay. If you're a professor and Dak Prescott handed this test in and you graded it, what kind of grade would you give it?
I would give him a D-.
No, that's failure. No. You know what? That's a shame. That's embarrassing, Skip.
Okay. All right. I'll give him an F.
Okay,
That's what you want to give him. I'll give him an F. He did a thing or two here or there that was pretty good, and I do think he had about 5 drops yesterday, in part because Amari wasn't there. But is it now my turn? Are you officially done?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Big picture takeaway over what I saw yesterday from my Dallas Cowboys was this game hit me like a LeBron James sucker punch right in the face. It cut my eye, it blooded my nose, it opened up my lips. I needed monkey butt powder after this game to just soothe my chafed behind. The point was, I got hit double shot. I took it double. It was a blindsided number 1 and blindsided number 2, because the blindside number 1 was my defense that you have completely written off as below average, as exposed, played its tail off once again.
They played well. They played really well.
My defense, led by Micah Parsons, and as Dorrance Armstrong said after the game, he is a monster.
Yeah.
He is a flat-out monster. He had 2 more sacks.
Forced fumble.
And without him, I just don't even know if they could have stayed on the field. But they did stay on the field, because if you told me before the game that my defense could hold Patrick Mahomes to 19 points at Arrowhead, high decibel Arrowhead, where they despise the Dallas Cowboys almost as much as they probably do any of their division foes. And yet, as ecstatic as I was by that, if only my quarterback could have played like my rookie defensive end, and let's be clear about this, he's a defensive end, and I've been just banging the desk over here. You just got to line him up on the edge. If he wants to put his hand down, he can. Or if he wants to stand up, as he did mostly yesterday, he can. He is an edge rusher.
Yes.
He is Von Miller.
Yeah,
he is Charles Haley. He is that guy.
Right.
And he's still a baby, but he is a handful of a baby.
Right.
And he was just figuring it out on the fly, and he said after the game, I'm still learning. Well, yeah, he's still learning. He's also the driving force of my 2021 defense, and I think he is right in the middle of the debate for Defensive Player of the Year, not just Defensive Rookie. If only my quarterback could have played like Micah did, maybe we would have stolen this game.
You definitely would have won.
But to your points, and I cannot disagree with any point you made about Dakota Rain Prescott, the $75 million man, for the second time in the last 3 games, played like he's worth 75 cents.
Yeah.
And I was dumbfounded, blindsided by it because I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming against Denver, and yet I chalked it up and wrote it off as they just weren't ready. They were overconfident, and they had a bad day at the office because they did not take Denver seriously enough. And Dak validated what I thought. He came right back against Atlanta and threw a virtuoso, albeit at the Falcons. But the Falcons had just won at New Orleans, 27-25. Right. So I put some stock in that. And all I heard all week was, this could be, said Jerry Jones, a hallmark win for my team. And I said, okay, I don't really want you to say it, but sure, it would be a hallmark win. Right. If Dak went up and outplayed Mahomes, as I thought he would, I predicted he would have a better QBR than Patrick Mahomes, which is now laughable. Mahomes didn't have a very good day. Look at his QBR. What was it? It's below 50. It's like 46, right? Okay, so 46, it scales 0 to 100. So he had a below average day for any quarterback. And yet, my quarterback, to your point, started off the game with a throw that I believe lost the football game. If we could see the very first play of the game, Michael Gallup over there, Snead falls down. And this is, I don't know if it would have been a home run. I don't know if it would have been a touchdown, but it would have been a big gain. Yeah. Just a big gain. You got to make this throw. Yeah. And he airmails him by about 5 yards. And if you hit him in stride, Gallup's a long strider once he gets unwound. I don't know. If you hit him right in stride, maybe he can beat the safety. Right. Maybe he can knock him down, maybe with a full head of steam. I don't know what happens. All I know is that sets the tone for a very different football game. So 3 plays later, it's 3rd down. And what happens? It's now 3rd and 2 at the 34. And if we can see the next play, Dak actually throws a sweet ball for a 1st down and hits Noah Brown, number 85, right in the hands. And Noah Brown is replacing, Amari Cooper. Don't get me started on unvaccinated Amari Cooper, who is also going to miss Thursday's Thanksgiving Day game against the visiting Las Vegas Raiders. Right. Don't get me started on that because we're going to get started on it a little later in the show. But those 2 plays set the Cowboys back on their heels, and they never recovered because Kansas City was about to lead wire to wire. Right. So Kansas City took the ball 86 yards in 8 plays and went right down, and Andy Reid said, watch this.
You see that formation?
I'm going to run a little pistol with Kelsey. We're going to snap it straight to Kelsey, and he's going to be flanked by 2 running backs with 1 behind him.
That's Mahomes that was behind him.
I know. He's going to fake it, and he's going to keep it and blast it up the middle. Andy, I am impressed. You are a genius.
You saw that.
It's on full display, and all of a sudden, it's 6-0 because Butker missed the extra point, which shocked me. But I thought, okay, maybe this has got a chance. And then what happens? Frank Clark strips Dak Prescott, if we could see this, and I just don't want to hear about it. If you're worth $75 million, you can't let this happen this early in the game. You're not careful with the football. You don't protect it. And all of a sudden, they have it down at your 20-yard line.
Skip, I don't know why you blaming Dak on that. What the hell is Terrence Steele doing?
Don't know. He's been pretty good so far, but he whiffed the assignment.
He missed the snap.
Okay, missed the snap in the high decibel era.
Yeah, it'll get loud.
And all of a sudden, they've got the ball, and my defense holds. And I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking, you just held to keep it 9-0? I'm thinking, okay, maybe we got a chance. And then comes Dallas's best offensive play the whole day. To your point, this is the #1 most explosive offense in professional football. And what happens? Tony Pollard requires a trick play, if we could see this, to get loose for 31 yards, and this is our best play of the day. It's a trick play, a fake reverse back to Dak, and he gets loose, and I thought he was gone for a second. Safety made a nice play to catch up, but this is direct snap to him,
Good
a wild
thing that was
fake.
Thornhill.
Yep. I think it was Thornhill.
That was, because you know it had been 49, that would have been a touchdown.
Yeah, and that's right. You don't like Sorensen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what would have happened.
Okay, and maybe if he gets in the end zone, that works, because I'm thinking, okay, here we go. We got this.
You're right, Skip, but if you get in the end zone now, as poorly as you played up until that point, it's a 9-7 ball game.
All of a sudden, it's going to go a little quieter at Arrowhead. But it got to 3rd and 5 at the 10-yard line, and to your point, they were 0 for 2 in the red zone, but it's 3rd and 5 at the 10. And my man, Lyle Collins, who's played at a Pro Bowl level, false starts. There he is. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You're not ready to play on the road at Arrowhead. If you're that team, if you're the team I thought, if you're special, if this is going to be your breakthrough, breakout year, you can't do that at that moment, because it is death. It is fatal, because you got to get it in the end zone there to just show that we can stand up.
Right.
And instead, no. That they're not going to convert 3rd and 10, right? And they didn't convert 3rd and 10 from the 15, and they had to take a 33-yard field goal to make it 9-3, right?
Yep.
Okay, then we come down to the end of the half, and I'm not going to kill McCarthy, drop the mic, Mike, but again, he just let them go because it was going full speed, and they were playing fast. They were playing fast break, and instead of calling a timeout to break the momentum, I didn't have a problem with him. Just let it go, let it go, let it go. And so what happens it's 1st and 10 at the 28 with 20 seconds left, and Dak gets greedy, and he's got CD in man, and this is the sack fumble first. This is what actually set this play up, the sack fumble by Micah. How fast is Micah?
Oh, Micah closed now. I mean, he chased it down.
Here we go back, and Dak is under some duress, and it's just an underthrown ball. Maybe if he gets it up on top, maybe CD's got a chance up high, but it's just underthrown, and you're going to lose. And obviously, CD just whiplashes his helmet back.
I've had that happen. I've had that. It hurts.
It hurts. And he's concussed.
Yes.
He was woozy walking off the field at halftime. So the point is, Micah makes a play, and do you capitalize? No.
Right.
You don't even get a field goal out of it.
If you get points, Skip, a game that's been dominating in the first half by Kansas City, you got some momentum going into the half. Now, you do lose. Now, Kansas City is going to get the ball coming out at the half, because this is what Mike McCarthy, he believes so much in his offense, Skip. He normally takes the ball. If he wins the toss, he normally takes the ball, because he has confidence in his offense.
I agree.
Most teams defer because they want the ball coming out in the second half. But Mike likes to take the ball because of his offense. He wants Dak to have the ball early.
Okay. So now we get down to 3rd quarter, still a ball game, and there's one controversial play that went against my team, one really bad call, and it's 3rd and 5 at the 12. This is 9:33 left in the 3rd quarter, and it's throw to Gallup at the goal line, and it's just pretty blatant pass interference, and nobody calls it. And Joe Buck and Troy immediately said, well, that looks like pass interference to me, because he grabbed him and held him, and Gallup was furious over it. Okay, it's a bad day at the office already, and somehow the refs aren't going to give you any breaks anyway. If you get that call and you score, you get it 1st and goal at the 1 and get a touchdown there, well, all of a sudden it could be 16-10, and it would feel a lot different than 16-6. Am I right?
But here, you're right. But we also saw Van Der Esch do the exact same thing, face guard the running back, and that could have easily been called defensive pass interference.
This is in the end zone, so this is a game changer.
Are you sure you would have scored from there?
From the
Considering how you guys were moving the ball yesterday, are you certain that you're going to get the ball in the end zone? Considering
Ezekiel Elliott has hit the late season wall.
He hit no walls.
He just doesn't look the same anymore. Well, he just doesn't. Look at what happened yesterday to Zeke. Did he do anything? Help me out.
No, he had 9 for 32.
Play-by-play.
9 of 32.
9 for 32. That's 3.6 yards a carry. He looked like he was running in Cabo sand to me. Am I right? If you subtract Tony Pollard, 31 yards on a trick play, if you subtract it, my team ran 15 times for 51 yards. You like that? That's barely more than 3 yards per carry.
Well, Skip, if you watched the game to see the way the game was played out, they were saying, you know what? We're going to take our chance. We're going to lock up outside. Y'all not running the football today.
What is my favorite stat about my Dallas Cowboys under Dak Prescott?
When you run it, you win it.
When you run it more than you pass it, they are 29-0. And silly me, when we spoke on Friday and we did our predictions, I seriously thought this was the game against a Kansas City front that has been porous against the run.
Yes.
Which ranked in the 20s against the run.
They've been porous against a lot of things.
Okay, against a lot of things. I just thought it's Zeke and Pollard and Pollard and Zeke and Pollard, and that they would run it and try to keep Mahomes off the field and try to control the clock more than they would throw it. Do you see what happened? It was 43 passes to 16 runs, 43 to 16, and it was still a fairly close game. So you can't tell me you fell behind 28-0, then you got me.
Right.
Okay?
You're still close enough in the ball game that you can run the ball.
You're still kind of hanging in there because there's no explosion from Mahomes boy. It's not exploding. He's not just going up and down the field. It's still a football game.
But Skip, it seems to me that like when they get down by 2 scores, and I'm not talking about 14 points, I'm not talking about 16 points, I'm talking about 10 points or 9 points. It seems like they panic and they abandon the other part of their offense and just says, okay, Dak, throw. At 9-0, at 16-6, you're still right in the ball game, Skip.
Still right in
you
the ball
don't
game.
have to go back and drop back and throw. But Skip, I thought if you go back and look at, and I campaigned for this, I said I love the Chris Jones. I say, but Chris Jones can't be your defensive end. I say he's most disruptive. I say he's extremely quick for a DT.
Well,
I say
they moved him back inside
He's
yesterday.
average quick for a DN. And Skip, he whipped everybody. He gave it to Zach Martin. You know he was going to give it to the center. They just moving him up to find somebody. Find a weak link and have at it, Chris Jones. And he showed you why I believe he's the second best defensive tackle in football behind Aaron Donald. Yesterday is why you pay a guy that kind of money.
Okay, now back to the sequence in the fourth quarter. Again, should have been called pass interference on Gallup, but it still leaves you 4th and 5 at the 12. And I thought, drop the mic, just go for it, because it just felt like it was teetering on, we got to cash.
No.
Because if you cash, again, you make it 16-10, and instead, nah, I'm going to take the field goal, which shocked me because he is go for the throw.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and so you make it 16-6. So now let's go a little later into the quarter. Let's go down to 9:43 left in the fourth. This is 1st and 10 at the Dallas 41, and he gets Cedric Wilson free. Dak escapes, and he has to kind of throw it off the wrong foot here. But he's escaped. He's gone for a touchdown. Dak underthrew that by about 10 yards to me.
Yeah.
And again, maybe he just couldn't get enough on it.
Right.
Maybe it's the wind is a big factor.
It's kind of hard to judge when you're moving forward.
I got it. But
so
this
you're
is
like, I don't want to overthrow him, but he underthrew it. He underthrew it.
This is another play where you can turn the noise down, man.
Right.
If you get this up and Cedric catches it, and he's capable, man.
Well, if he throws it out there, Skip, it's a touchdown.
It's a touchdown. If you just get the ball up to Cedric, he's not very big, but he had a couple of yards.
Right.
And he had to stop and come back and fight just to save the interception, which he did.
Yes.
But if he's free, all of a sudden, guess what the score is? Wait a second. That would have made it 19-16. Okay? Well, now is it not a game?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now you put the pressure really on Kansas City to execute their offense.
Right. And then negative, Cedric, was in that last-ditch drive, and I don't think this would have mattered that much, but it's 2:24 left in the game. It's 1st and 10 at the Dallas 22. Dak threw a good ball to Cedric and just hit him right in the hand.
That hit coming. Yeah. You know what's coming, Skip.
I know.
You know what's coming. You know. Exactly.
Okay. And hit him right in the hands, but you got to suck it up and catch this. Is it going to change the world? No, it's not going to change it because you're still down 19-9 at that point.
Playing cover 2 here.
Okay.
Like,
I don't want that. Which leads to the final throw of the game, and I can't put this one on Dak because Chris Jones made another play. He got his hand up, and he got his hand on the ball. If we could see the final interception, and this closes the books on the Dallas Cowboys. But
I'm not so sure that wasn't going to be picked anyway, Skip, because I don't know. I think you looked like you was throwing it to 17, but Swede was going to uppercut it anyway because they playing 2-man. It looked like they playing 2 trail.
Yep, I got it.
Well, they playing 2. They playing straight 2.
Okay. So the point is, Dak Prescott had another miserable game on the same order of the Broncos game, which was at home against an inferior opponent. This is on the road against a superior opponent.
Doesn't it remind you of the game in New England? the 9 points and how the opportunities was there.
You mean back in 2018?
2018.
Yes.
Dak.
Yes, or Philadelphia.
Yeah, when they had opportunity after opportunity, and you felt that they could just make one play. If they could just get one play, now all of a sudden it's going to turn the momentum in their favor. And for whatever reason, they weren't able to make that play. Skip, I thought their defense was outstanding yesterday. Once they settled down, because, they hit them with the big drive right down the field, and then they come right back and get another, make it 9-0.
Yep.
But I thought once they settled in after that, the defense played really, really well. And Michael Parsons, Skip, man, I told you. I said, now somebody, you know what? A lot of people didn't really understand. Are we gonna play him off the ball? Are we gonna be a pass rusher? When you got a guy like that, Skip, just get him and let him go play football. That's what you do, son. Go attack the guy with the football. And that's what he can do.
He might be leading the league in sacks if they would just put him on the edge from the start.
You might be right.
Because they tried to get cute with it.
Yeah.
We'll have him cover the back out of the backfield.
Right.
We'll have him
dropping coverage. Yeah. What good is him dropping in coverage?
Nothing.
What is that going to do?
Nothing. And obviously, I'm down both my starting defensive ends. There's no DeMarcus Lawrence. There's no Randy Gregory. And they're not going to be ready to play by Thursday.
Right.
And then there's no Amari. And now there's no CD for Thursday.
Right.
So I know the Raiders have just fallen on their faces.
Yeah, somebody put a hole in the pirate ship, Skip. It's sinking.
Something happened, and they got rocked at home by Cincinnati yesterday. But they are still dangerous because of the quarterback. And I just don't know that I love my chances even against the Raiders because we're just decimated. Now we're shell-shocked.
You should feel good because you are at home. So that should give you some consolation. You don't have to travel. They're going to have to come to you. Skip, you should win this game now. You're a more talented football team. You have a better quarterback. You should win this game. Now, if you lose this game, Skip, you're going to be in panic mode.
Well, I'm already in panic mode because then you turn around 1 week later on a Thursday night at New Orleans, no bargain.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, we have not made one trip to one division foe yet.
Right.
So we have 3 games on the road against Washington, Giants, Philly coming up, and we got Arizona at home. No cakewalk to close.
And Arizona and Philly is starting to play better. They're letting Jalen Hurts run around. They're running the football. Skip, I think they had, 50 rushes yesterday for like 250 yards?
What did I tell you? Philly is the biggest threat in the East. Here comes Washington.
What about Taylor Heineke? You see what he did yesterday?
Shannon, you got to get his name right.
I don't know why I want to make that man Tyler.
He doesn't deserve enough respect.
Yes, he does. Yes, after when he did.
Be Taylor.
And they keep talking about Cam went home. He went home too.
Yeah, he's sticking around. He's sticking around, Heineke. Okay, another game to get to. This one, I don't know your thoughts. I'm curious. The Lions gave the Browns all they could handle, but ultimately Cleveland came away with a 13-10 win. Baker Mayfield threw a touchdown pass, but also threw 2 interceptions as he struggled, and his struggles have continued. Following the win, Baker ran off the field without shaking hands and did not speak to the media afterwards. So, Shannon, give Baker a letter grade, please.
He didn't pass. Now, I just want to know, Skip, are we putting this on Odell? Are we blaming because Odell, Odell was there and Baker everybody, I've heard people that should know better say the pressure for Baker to throw the ball to Odell. So what was that yesterday? No Odell in sight. Odell announced news he about to be a father. He happy. Ain't bothering nobody. But let me guess. It's his shoulder. It's his knee. It's his back.
His foot.
Yeah, foot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Skip, this is awful. Now, they're very fortunate that they played the Lions because Tim Boyle, almost beat. They ran the ball 36 rushes for 184 yards, 5.1. They got Nick Chubb back doing Nick Chubb-type things. And Baker Mayfield was barely 50%. Barely 50 with 2 picks. Now, I want to know who's responsible for this now that you removed the excuse machine, which is Odell. That narrative that Odell was the cause because Baker. You know why people are so upset? Because they want to make Baker elite. If you look at Baker Mayfield as an average quarterback, you wouldn't nearly be as upset. I'm not upset when he plays bad because I see him for what he is. It's the other people that try to make Baker elite. He's a first-round pick. Oh, we went to Oklahoma, and Baker, he's the Pied Piper. He's like, woo-woo! And everybody came marching to attention.
Yep.
All I know is what I see. Now, I kept telling you, he's the third best quarterback in that draft. He's not good as Lamar. He's not good as Josh Allen.
You kept telling me Sam Darnold was the best quarterback in that draft.
Well,
really? Really?
You know what, Skip?
Yikes.
He might be a dressed-up Sam Darnold. He might be a dressed-up Sam Darnold. He's not it, Skip. Now, Cleveland can do what they want to do. They can extend him if they want to, but you're not winning with that guy. He's average. With a running game like that, there's no way you're supposed to be barely 50%. There's no way. He's saying one. So that's Jarvis. Jarvis is his favorite receiver. He's sailing Jarvis left and right. You know it, and I know it, and a lot of other people know it and don't want to admit it. Baker Mayfield is an average quarterback. There's nothing elite about Baker.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, my turn for a letter grade, and I have a question for you. Who won this game? Help me out.
Oh, you won, Brother.
Did he flunk and they won?
Yeah, he didn't pass. Well, I guess a D is passing.
A D is passing? So you gave him a D?
Yeah, I gave him a D.
Well, I got to at least give him a C because he did play and he did win. Am I right?
15 to 2 interceptions?
Yeah.
Against
he played and he won.
Tim Boyle?
C. How can you give him lower than a C?
Tim Boyle?
Did he do what needed to get done?
No. Nick Chubb did. The running game did. Okay. He didn't do nothing. He was terrible. You know he was terrible.
Is Cleveland now 6-5? Yep. And Cleveland is in the cellar in that division, but would you believe Cleveland's only a game and a half out of first place, which is now owned by the Baltimore Ravens, who survived without their starter yesterday?
Whoa.
They're 7-3 now to 6-5 Cleveland. But guess what's coming up? Next Sunday night at Baltimore, Baker's at Baltimore. And I hate to bring this up, but do you realize Baker's had 3 huge games in his career against the Ravens? 3 big, he's averaging about 350 yards passing in those 3 games.
Yeah.
So that's coming up at Baltimore. Then it's bye week, and maybe they can get a little healthier, starting with him. And then guess who visits Baltimore? So it goes at Baltimore, by Baltimore. So we're about to find out what the Cleveland Browns are made of, right?
Catch L's all through.
We'll see what is about to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Right now, Fox Bet says Baltimore at Baltimore is all of a 3.5-point favorite over the average Baker Mayfield. Yeah. Really? 3.5?
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be 9.5 or 10.
Why?
Well, according to you, he's trash.
You got him in the Super Bowl. Why would you be an underdog? Yeah. Why would you even, anybody that's in the underdog?
Okay, so it rained the whole game yesterday, and they said the winds were gusting, and
the other team played in that weather?
Help me out. Well, yeah. Did you see what the other quarterback did?
Tim Boyle. Yeah, exactly. I couldn't tell who was who. Well, I couldn't tell other than the uniform.
Okay, help me out here. His favorite deep threat, Baker Mayfield's, is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Did he play yesterday? Help me out. I know he was inactive. He's hurt. How about Anthony Schwartz, the kid from Auburn, who can just flat out fly? Yeah. 4.3 40 kid who's gotten deep several times this year. Did he play yesterday? No, he didn't. So Baker had no deep speed, and Jarvis is beat all to hell. And again, the reason Baker, I believe, didn't talk to the media is he's just tired of talking and doesn't want any more criticism about you're making excuses. He gets asked about his injuries. He's got a torn labrum in his left shoulder. He's got a fracture above the labrum in his left shoulder. He just wrecked his knee and has a sprained knee and should not have played yesterday. And he had a foot injury that also has kept him out of practice for 2 weeks. So he hasn't practiced in 2 weeks. So he's just trying to hang on for dear life, and he sucked it up and went out and played. Should he have played yesterday? My gut feeling is a big no. But he did play, and they did win.
Skip, he was taking it up before all these injuries besieged him.
Okay.
So don't pretend like he was on this epic arc, because he wasn't. He's been bad all season long. But you want to go back, but I know what you'll do. You'll go back and talk about the last 11 games last year.
Well, what happened? Should we just destroy those? Just sweep them under your little carpet over there?
What did he get?
What should we do last year?
What did he do? What did he get for that? He got bounced from the playoffs.
No, he won a playoff game against the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin at Pittsburgh. He did that.
He did that.
Yeah, that's pretty great, I would say. Right?
So does that carry over into the new year?
Interesting. In his rookie year against Baltimore, he threw for 376 yards and 3 touchdowns. And then there's a big win in 2019 at Baltimore. They won 40-25, and he threw for 342 and a touchdown. And then last year, it was the great comeback by Lamar. He literally came back out of the
Yes.
In that game, Baker brought them back They were down 34-20. He brought them all the way back to tie at 42 by throwing for 343 yards and 2 more touchdowns. But he's average against the Baltimore Ravens defense. Baker Mayfield just did it and did it and did it again. Let me ask you a question. Whoa.
In the process of him coming back from 34 to 20, can you tell the people at home where Lamar Jackson was at that time?
Well, he was in the locker room.
So,
he rose from the dead and came back.
So they had Marty McSorley.
He was the defending MVP of the league. That's how great he is.
So that means Baker Mayfield is not allowed to beat the reigning MVP?
Did you call it before Lamar was drafted? Did you say he should have gone first in the draft? I didn't say
no. I said he should be a first-round pick, and I said he should be a quarterback. No, I didn't say he should be the number 1 overall pick. Okay. But you don't do what he did in college and be a bum.
Yeah. All I know is I'm going to repeat what I've said about Baker Mayfield. My biggest issue with him is that he and his team, whoever advises him, has allowed him to do more and more and more, both Progressive and Nissan Heisman house commercials. So he's got Baker Mayfield's house commercials, Progressive, and he's got Heisman house commercials in which he is the star of those. With all those former Heisman winners, you could go any direction you want, and you keep focusing on Baker Mayfield. I don't know what causes it, but if I were on his team, I would have advised against doing any more Progressive this year because the target gets painted bigger and bigger on his back. And he's good in them, but he's kind of a show-off, and he's acting and overacting. And every weekend we get a new Progressive commercial. It's the Halloween one. It's the leave the seat up one. And it's the neighbors one, and it's the house sitter one. It's like they're relentless. They drive me crazy. I get sick and tired of seeing Baker's mug on TV, and all day Saturday I have to see it in the Heisman house.
Yeah.
Okay, it's no good. It's wrong. It's what's inspiring the hate in you of Baker Mayfield.
No, I got no hate. No, I just see him for what he is. I see an average quarterback. I don't see elite.
Okay,
but
I'm going to say once again, last year he was so average that after Odell got hurt at Cincinnati, he went on a tear for 11 games, not 2 games or 3, 11 games. They went 8-3, and he was graded by Pro Football Focus the 4th best quarterback in football over those last 11 games, which included a win at Pittsburgh in a playoff game. But he's trash. He's garbage. Get him out of my sight.
I'm trying to figure out how does what one does last year equate to what he's doing and how he's playing this year.
Beat all to hell.
Oh, now he beat all
to hell. Well, he is. He shouldn't have been playing yesterday.
Why didn't he talk? I guess he didn't wake up feeling dangerous.
I guess not.
He a front runner. I told you when he was in college he was a front runner.
Okay.
As long as he's winning, he's doing windmills.
How are you not a front runner if you won and you won't talk? If he'd lost to Detroit, I'd say, you got me.
If I play like that, I ain't talking.
Really?
I ain't talking. I'm talking about.
Did you win?
Hold on. You told me that's an old 91 team. With a quarterback I had never heard of. You had never heard of.
No, I told you the Detroit Pistons are the one you should be ashamed of.
No.
That's the team, the Detroit team.
They beat a team that hadn't won a game, and they got a quarterback you nor I, and I don't even know if the fans in Detroit have ever heard of him. And it took all they could to scrape to get a victory. There's nothing to talk about. He has so much to talk about. Oh, I'm beat. I'm beat up. This is the worst I felt. I ain't been never beat up so bad in my career. Nobody tried to hear that.
Well, he got ridiculed and condemned by you last week for acknowledging in an interview, I'm hurt. I'm beat up.
So is everybody else.
He said nobody wants to hear it.
It's called the NFL. It's called tackle football. It's called collision football. So if you've been playing for 11 weeks, everybody is hurting. It's not unique to Baker Mayfield. But what about all these other quarterbacks that's going out there week in and week out and don't make excuses?
I don't think anybody's as beat up as he is. He's still playing because most of them wouldn't have played.
Well, you know what, Skip Bayless? You know I can feel how beat up he is. I'm sure somebody else beat up just as bad.
Who? Name
Doesn't
one.
Matter.
I don't know.
And I know he's not very good. That's what I know. Name one that's the worst.
Okay, so now he's going through what Dak went through back in 2019.
He ain't Dak. He ain't Dak.
Okay.
He ain't going to be.
I'm not sure Dak is Dak.
Dak is fine.
Yeah. Oh, is he
Dak
fine?
is fine.
That's not what you said about 15 minutes ago.
Dak had a bad game.
Well, he's had 2 out of 3 terrible games. So he's going through it because they will not give him his extension, right? They won't re-sign.
What they got to do? Okay. What did that do?
Because you start to press, and then you start to say, well, why should I die for the cause? Should I not play?
Whoa. That's not what you said. That's not what you and others have said on this network. Mm-hmm. You didn't mention contract extension. You made it about Odell. So now it's the contract extension and not Odell?
Well,
I just want to know.
I told you, we all blame Baker for what happened to Odell on Monday Night Football in his debut game with the Rams. It was Baker's fault.
No. Yeah. What you did is that they formed the narrative that said the reason why Matthew Stafford threw an interception, he was pressing. All those interceptions.
Forcing it to Odell.
Hold on.
So Matt Stafford says, I gotta throw it to Odell. Even Troy Aikman said, you just feel a compulsion to throw it deep to Odell.
And guess what I never heard Troy say? When he was forcing the ball in the triple coverage to Megatron, he never blamed Megatron. He blamed Matthew Stafford for forcing the football. But he's perpetuating a narrative that you started, that Odell was the reason because of Baker's flaws. And it's not the case, because guess what? Odell has been gone, and Baker has been playing trash.
Well, what happened last year? As soon as Odell was gone, Baker didn't play trash, did he?
But you won't tell me with the grade that they gave Nick Chubb, who's the second best running back behind Derrick Henry. But see, you won't mention that.
Wait until they get Kareem back, too.
What they need? They got Baker. It's Baker.
Yeah, he's feeling it. He's frustrated. He's hurting, and he doesn't want to talk about it. He'll just let us do the talking. No mercy. The Lakers beat the Pistons 121-116, but the big story of the night was LeBron being ejected in the third quarter after he threw a seemingly inadvertent elbow that bloodied the face of Detroit big man Isaiah Stewart. Stewart had to be restrained by teammates and arena officials and was also ejected from the game. And afterward, Anthony Davis defended LeBron for his role in the incident, saying, quote, everyone in the league knows LeBron is not a dirty guy. So, Shannon, should LeBron be suspended for this?
No. It wasn't egregious. I think he served his punishment by being ejected from the ball game. He missed basically the lion's share of the second half, Skip. To me, it seemed they're jockeying for position at the foul line. The arms got tangled, and LeBron basically like, man, get your hands off, arms off me, hands off me. And he caught him in the eye. He caught him with a back fist in the eye. Good MMA. That's what they do in the spinning back fist, Skip. But that's wasn't MMA. This was basketball. But Skip, LeBron has no history of this type of behavior. So for me, I believe Stewart will get a suspension. It's almost like the Nikola Jokic and the Keith Morris situation, Skip. Keith did what he did, and Jokic came back and shoved him. I believe Stewart gets suspended the game for failing to leave the court in a timely manner. This season, there have been 4 other flagrant twos. None, 0 has resulted in a suspension. I repeat, there have been 4 other instances in which a flagrant 2 has been called, player ejected. None have resulted in a suspension, with the exception of what, Skip? Nikola Jokic, when he shoved in the back. So they deemed that was intent because it wasn't it was a separate act. He got pushed, he thought he ran and shoved him. So I don't believe LeBron James is going to get a suspension.
I don't either, but he deserves one. The reason he's not going to get suspended is because the Los Angeles Lakers play at the New York Knicks in Madison Square Garden on Tuesday evening, and there's no way this league is going to say, we got to dock LeBron a game for that. I believe he deserves 2 games. I believe Isaiah Stewart deserves 3 games suspension because these were 2 ugly incidents on top of each other. One sparked the next. And to me, LeBron lost it just as much as Isaiah Stewart lost it, but LeBron's was contained in one flashpoint moment of frustration. And again, all those other flagrant 2s you're talking about happened like on a fast break where somebody reached up and caught somebody on the head.
Right.
Okay, those are all basketball plays. This is a non-basketball play. He's not just trying to shove his hand off him. He got frustrated. I believe he was frustrated by the situation. How do you know he was frustrated, Skip? It's 9:18 left in the third quarter. You're down 12 to the lowly Detroit Pistons.
So this is the only time he's ever been frustrated in his career?
Well, they're about to be 8 and 9 is what they would have fallen to. No, yeah, right, 8 and 9, yeah.
They were 8 and 9.
They're already 8 and 9. They'd be 8 and 10. Okay, so they're down 12 to Detroit. Detroit's on fire. fire. The kid's playing his tail off. He plays with high energy and sometimes over emotion. I got that. And they've got him boxed in at the foul line. It's between Melo and LeBron. And LeBron just finally said, I've had enough of this. That is a premeditated shot to the face. He turns and looks at him.
He doesn't.
He's not trying to shove his hand off. He closes his fist. You cannot let a man get away, I don't care what his reputation is, with closing his fist and going with a backhand shot to the face of Isaiah Stewart, leading with the elbow. I'm still convinced it's almost quicker than the eye. I think the elbow was the one that caught him across the top of the eye and split it open. And that's a soft place that can split easily.
I think his hand just slid. He caught a little corner of his eye and caught his lip.
Okay, I think it was elbow first. I think it was forearm next. And I think it was closed fist, back of fist across the face. And he also smashed him pretty good in the mouth. Yeah. And I don't know if he had blood in his mouth or not.
Yeah.
But he rocked him, and he dropped him to his knees. And Isaiah Stewart is shell-shocked and gets up and thinks, this is LeBron James who did this to me? And LeBron's walking toward him because LeBron liked to keep his friends close. And
now you're talking about he won. Hold on. How do you go?
Buddy back up to him. Oh, I didn't mean it. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you just smashed me in the face with a closed fist. Well, that's what happened. You know it, and I know. I don't care what his reputation or lack thereof is. He's not Ron Artest, obviously. But the point was he lost it in a flashpoint moment of frustration, and he smashed him good in the face. He drew blood, and because of that, that's an obvious suspension. What did the refs do? Did they take 7 minutes to figure this out? They went and took one look. I was shocked because I couldn't see it in the first replay. It took me a couple of tweets before I realized what had happened. And when the refs went straight to the monitor, and within under a minute, they said, he's ejected for a flagrant 2.
First of all, Scott Foster called it. He said hostile act. Even before they went and looked at the monitor. So he already knew it was a flagrant 2 because he's looking right at it.
Okay, hostile act, that deserves a suspension to me.
No.
Hey, when you haul off and just smash somebody in the face, that's not some basketball play at full speed at the basket where you reach up and grab somebody around the neck trying to keep them from dunking.
I'm just making sure. So there's no hand fighting at the free throw line that's going on. So no one is ever. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Below the neck hand fighting.
So nobody has ever caught an elbow in the eye or had a tooth or got busted in the nose at the free throw line. It's a simple yes or no, Skip.
He turns to him and looks at him and throws the elbow / forearm / back of the fist. So he threw it.
So at the free throw line,
he punched him.
When I'm trying to get position, you're trying to get position.
If your hands are below your waist.
Skip ain't nobody doing that. Skip, everybody's hands are up here.
Okay, but it's below the neck. Nobody goes up into the face.
Skip, when I'm trying to fight, I'm just trying to keep you off. Now, sometimes the hands, the elbows, they get high, and you catch someone in the chin. You catch someone in the jaw. It happens. But in this man's 19-year career, you said that was the flashpoint moment that he got frustrated. Not against the Mavericks. Not against the Celtics, not against all the times that he was losing. This was the moment. And on a Sunday afternoon, at a 3 o'clock game.
Playing a 4-11 team at Detroit.
He got frustrated.
On an NFL Sunday.
He got frustrated with that.
Did.
That's what
79-67 Pistons?
So not the Mavericks series in 2011. That didn't send him over the edge. Not in 2010 against the Celtics. That didn't send him over the edge. Not those times against the Orlando Magic. That didn't send him over the edge. It was this situation on November the 20th. That's what sent him over the edge. Huh?
We all know that LeBron James is a lover, not a fighter.
Okay, so why would he do that, Skip?
That's a great question because he boiled over and lost it for a moment. And it took Isaiah Stewart a moment to figure out that happened. And LeBron tries to kiss up to him, buddy up. It's okay. And he's like, no, it's not okay. And before you knew it, he was a raging bull. And I agree, he went completely out of control because he wanted a piece of the king.
Skip, he wanted a piece. Skip, LeBron, look, if I'm jawing with a person, and we are face to face, you got your hands on me, I got my hands on you, and I'm talking. Now all of a sudden, everybody comes in, they pull me back, they pull you back. Why are you trying to get at me now? You should have took off when I was face to face.
No, it took a moment.
For what?
It's like Obama smashed you in the mouth. That's what it's like, and you're like, what? You did that to me?
I don't look. I get it. It's professional sports. Like I said, ain't nobody really trying to do anything like that and cost themselves a big check because these guys make money now. They got to make too much money. It's really not worth it. But I get Isaiah Skip. I'm not saying I don't get Isaiah Stewart's frustration because I do. Because it caught him so off guard that it happened. And then he's like, damn.
Dropped to his knee. Yeah. And he got up, and here comes LeBron like, hey, man. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. I'm LeBron James.
There you go.
Well, that's how it came across.
No, it didn't come across.
And to his credit, he just wouldn't stop.
Skip.
And the more he thought about it, the worse it got.
Yeah, and the worse that fine gonna be, and the worse the suspension gonna get.
Yeah, he'll get suspended, but LeBron should also be suspended.
No, he shouldn't.
Well, he started it.
No, there you go.
Boy, would Isaiah Stewart like to finish it?
Oh, Skip. The thing is...
Seriously, do you think LeBron had police protection going to the bus? He probably just exited before the game was
over.
Why
would I have police protection?
Because that guy was coming after you.
Man, stop. Ain't nobody going to do it.
Carmelo and Kevin Garnett at the bus in Madison Square Garden? Remember that incident?
Skip, look.
Melo had to be restrained.
But Harris, that was, I guess that would be deemed intentional, purposeful, because you're saying something that I view disrespectful. Now, if it had in the course of the game and, we tussling or something like that, okay, that's one thing. But once you take it outside of that, you make it personal, then you and I are going to have a discussion to see what's really going on. Yeah. But in a situation like this, Skip, it was just a situation. Guys hand fight in the NBA at the free throw line. I've been watching basketball since 1977. I know I've seen guys catch elbows at the free throw line. You've seen it also.
Not like that. Not a turn and fire elbow.
It wasn't no turn and fire, Skip.
Premeditation.
It wasn't no So premeditated. The man woke up, said, you know what? If we're losing, I'm going to hit somebody in the eye with an elbow. That's what premeditation is.
No, it was in that moment premeditated.
No mercy. On Saturday, there are games, and then there is the game. It is the latest chapter in college football's ultimate rivalry. Number 4, Ohio State face number 6, Michigan in the big noon Saturday game of the week. Coverage begins at 10 Eastern with big noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor. And then it is the game Saturday on Fox and the Fox Sports app. You know I'm counting down the days. And this one's going to be a good one, guys. Dak Prescott struggled, though, all day as Dallas suffered a 19-9 loss in Kansas City. The Cowboys' passing offense came into the game shorthanded after Amari Cooper got placed on the COVID list this past Friday, and he's reportedly also going to miss Thursday's Thanksgiving matchup, too, which is a sign he is unvaccinated. And after the game, Dak was asked how much it hurt to be without Amari, quote, in part because of a decision he made, and he defended his teammate. Take a listen.
It's unfortunate not having him, but to say the decision he made, me vaccinated, I can get it and be out 2 games. So let's not try to knock the guy or put the guy down for a personal decision. That's my team. That's my brother. We're going to support him. That's his decision, as I said way back in training camp when you guys asked me this question. So, unfortunately, we're not having him, but I know he'll come back and be beneficial for us in the late part of the season.
Okay, Skip, but what was your initial reaction when you heard the news Friday?
Yeah, what was your reaction?
This just made me sick, and I immediately tweeted, I am so disappointed in Amari Cooper. I also immediately tweeted that I knew we were in trouble, Dallas Cowboys at Kansas City Chiefs, in trouble without Amari, because this is the game against Patrick Mahomes and company. You need all your firepower on offense, and I believe they went in thinking we have one hand tied behind our back. This is still all new to this Cowboy team. Everybody's saying this is going to be breakthrough year, but you have to go win at Mahomes. And yet they went in, you could just tell they weren't ready to play on offense. Dak misses Michael Gallup on the first throw of the game. Noah Brown, the replacement for Amari Cooper, drops the first big pass on 3rd and 2. And here we went south, and we trailed the whole game. So I understand Dak defending his, as he said, my brother.
Yeah.
And it was predictable that he would do so. But he also said that's his decision, and that's where Dak loses me. It is not Amari Cooper's decision. If you're going to take and make $20 million from Jerry Jones, you have an obligation to this football team to get vaccinated because it gives you a much better chance to win if everybody is vaccinated. Right. And this is the ultimate selfish act to me. Aaron Rodgers obviously was also selfish, but lied about being selfish. At least Amari didn't lie, but Amari's off radar. Nobody really watches or cares.
But if you notice, though, Skip, on the sideline, he always had a mask on.
He always did have a mask on. I can't remember if he ever spoke to the media without that mask on. I'm unsure about that. I didn't keep tabs because I didn't care that much. But
But you noticed on the sidelines, he had a mask on.
He had a mask on. So the point is that if you're going to take the $20 million, you owe it to your brothers on the team to get vaccinated, because what happened right on schedule, you test positive for COVID at the worst possible time when they're about to go to Kansas City for that
hallmark game that Jerry said.
Hallmark victory. It could be season-making, and you have to turn around in 3 to 4 days to play at home on Thanksgiving, and you're done for that game. And then you turn around and have to go in 7 more days on a Thursday night to New Orleans, and you could be in some trouble for that game. I don't know about that one, but it is a little dicey. And I thought Jory Epstein did a terrific piece today in USA Today about this. And she made the point that vaccinated players across the league have returned in fewer than 10 days because they have. You can beat the system if you're vaccinated. So maybe Amari could have been available to play against his old team, the Raiders.
Symptomatic.
Right? Okay, if you have the 2 tests within 24 hours and test negative. But in the end, I'm sorry, I know Amari seems like a nice guy, but this isn't a nice thing that he did to my football team, because I just rage about it, because it's the one thing you have to do for team unity. I don't care what your personal beliefs are. If you want to go home and not take the money, I am totally fine with that. But if you're going to take your $20 million and be part of this football team, you're going to make it harder on this football team to win. And he just made it really hard to win at Kansas City, and he well might have made it harder to win against the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, Skip, look, I'm going to respect Amari's decision not to take the vaccination. But I don't feel sorry. If he cost his team two victories, I'm all for that. Because it's just like, Skip, a guy getting a penalty late in the ball game and costing his team. That's basically what he did. This is more egregious of the penalties. That's what he did. He cost his team because him not being there. So now when I hear guys speak, oh, it's a team. No. Take that back. Because what you did was not about the team. This was about you. And I'm okay with that. But just call it what it is. But I don't want to hear you mention anything about team, because when your team was counting on you to get vaccinated to increase your chances of being here with us throughout the season, you said, I'm going to make a decision based on basically what's in the best interest of me. Skip, there have been a lot of times what I should have done was take my butt to go see my kids play. What I should have done is been better in my relationship. That's what I should have done.
Yep.
But I did what was in the best interest of the team and to help us win. So that's why I always said, Skip, I was a team guy. I was willing to do whatever it took to help the team win. So I didn't just give lip service to say, yeah, I'm a team guy. But when it came to the team is counting on you, therein lies the difference between a lot of people. A lot of guys say team, and they really, really mean it. Because, Skip, again, the vaccination does not offer you a foolproof that it's 100%. There's nothing. I have read nothing. I've read a lot of documentation. I've talked to a lot of doctors. Skip, anytime they give you surgery, they don't say you're 100% going to be better than ever. There's 100%. They say if you do this and this, there's a 98%, there's a 90%, or you have a 70% cure rate, or this or that. But now everybody wants 100%. If I get this vaccine, I want to make sure I don't get COVID. But there's never been a vaccine. The smallpox, the chickenpox, the measles, rubella, pertussis, none of that is 100%. So for me, Skip,
but key point there. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say studies show vaccination reduces the chance of severe illness from COVID-19 by 90% or more. From severe illness. So obviously, if you get vaccinated and you get COVID, You could have symptoms. It sounds like Aaron Rodgers, we're going to talk about him later, it sounds like he's still having symptoms from COVID.
Yes.
Well, I don't know what Amari's situation. I have no idea. We always bypass the fact that, he'll be okay. Well, I don't know if he's okay or not, because you can get rocked by this.
Yeah, because I think Jaylen Brown says he's still recovering from COVID that he had last year. He said he still doesn't have his conditioning. It's still hard for him. Now, maybe some of the NFL players haven't had the symptoms, the severity of that.
Yep.
But that's what the CDC, Skip, I believe that's what the doctors are saying. The severe symptoms, the hospitalization that would be required if you don't have the vaccination greatly increases without the vaccination.
Okay.
Amari Cooper and others are entitled. But don't give me this thing about the team. Because when you say, you're a team guy, you're a you guy.
You're a you guy.
I'm going to do what's in the best interest of me, and then whatever come in the best interest of the team. And I'm fine doing what's in the best interest, but I don't want to hear you talk about the team.
So, in the end, Dak got upset. I think it was with Jory's question from USA Today, and his retort was, I never said Aaron was selfish, so I don't get where you're coming from asking me that question. That's my teammate, that's my brother, and as I said, I'll continue to back him and support him. Well, we get that, but deep down, if you want to tell the truth about it, you also have to be very disappointed in him, because he just helped cost you a football game at Kansas City, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Well, I don't know what they said, Skip, but I know how I was when a guy made a dumb play in a ball game and said, bro, that was a selfish play. Because you could have cost us, or it did cost us. I'm not saying that play, but that play that you made, that didn't help us in this ball game. And later, it might be a more crucial situation where it's nip and tuck. We might not be 14 points ahead, and you get a personal foul, or you do something dumb.
Yep.
But you go to the guy and says, but hey, this is where they are now, guys, is that, for whatever reasons, all of a sudden, I didn't know. I mean, I'm reading studies where they say they need more doctors. And I've been damned if more athletes aren't doctors than I ever seen in my life, because they know more than the guys that spent 10, 11, 12 years.
Apparently.
Kind of a funny point. Guys, we're going to leave it for now. We hope he is back and well. That is what's most important. I know Skip wants him back very soon. Guys, Cam Newton.
No mercy.
Cam Newton and Carolina suffered a 27-21 loss to Washington as they fell below 500. Cam did score 3 total touchdowns and also had a big celebration at midfield after a long rushing touchdown in the middle of the game. So, Shannon, did you like the celebration or have a problem with it?
I didn't like it. I thought it was a bit too much. I thought it was a look at me moment. They brought Cam in the middle of a playoff picture, and Cam made that moment about him. If he wanted to take all of his teammates, I probably would have been a little more accepting of it had he brought all of his teammates. Yep. Skip, it's like when you get an interception, the guy get an interception and he call, hey, come on, boy, let's get the shot. Let's get in front of the camera. Hey, you get a touchdown and you get all your thing together. Mm-hmm. But that wasn't the time. And I've been Cam's biggest supporter from the day he stepped foot in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But I did not like this, because at this time it's not about you right now, Cam. Your team is smack dab in the middle of a playoff run. Smack dab in the middle of a playoff run. And to take that time, that opportunity right there, is that I didn't like it. I didn't think it was called for. I didn't think it was necessary at that moment. You could have, put the ball down the end zone, did your Superman thing, but just to run to the middle of the field, no, I didn't like that at all. I thought Cam played really well yesterday, considering that the man had been out of football for the beginning of the season. Yep. He came back last week against, I think they played Houston Texans. Was it Texas? I think it was the Texans. Well, last week they won the game. Yeah. Played well, rushed for a touch. No, they played the Cardinals. Played the Cardinals. Yes. Played well. Thought he played well yesterday. At Cardinals. Mm-hmm. Threw a couple touchdown passes, ran for a touchdown. He played well. But it just, at that time, 21 of 27, 189, 2 touchdown passes. They ran the ball for 111 yards. He had 10 for 46. He was being Cam. But like I said, I just wish he hadn't done that. I didn't think it was necessary at that point in the game. And they got the work cut out for him, because they really needed this ball game. I thought that was a ball game. I picked them to win that ball game. But they at Miami, some of these games, Buffalo, they've been struggling the last couple of weeks. And when they're getting beat, Skip, they're not getting beat, 24-21. Teams are hanging 40-plus on them. And they're not really in any of these ball games. But they got New Orleans and they got close at Tampa to end the season.
Well, they got two
Tampas. They got two Tampas and they end at Tampa, end at New Orleans. So they got their work cut out for them now if they plan on making the playoffs. But, Skip, I didn't like this. I did not like it.
I am generally with you on everything you just said. But I tried and tried in the back of my mind yesterday to give him a pass for this. Because I do love him, and he is a great showman, and he's fun to watch because he's Cam Newton.
Yeah.
And he without apology, Cam will be Cam. And obviously, he can grandstand occasionally, he can chest beat occasionally, but it's part of the package of Cam being Cam. And yet, when I look back at this flashpoint moment of this game, he just made the play of the game because that run, that's 24 yards on a read option. If we could see that, there he goes. And he looked like young, Cam. Man. He looked like a young man running, right?
Yeah.
And it took my breath away, and so did this because he follows it up by he was so full of himself at that point.
He pulled a T.O. Remember what T.O. did to the star?
Do I? And he goes all the way to the middle of the field. And I couldn't tell what he's yelling. It's I'm back or whatever, but he's Superman. And he slammed the ball down on the logo. Okay? And yet, I'm thinking, wait a second, we got a lot of football game left here. You just went up 14-7, and this is 5:52 left in the second quarter. So you got a long way home. And guess what the Washington football team did from that point forward? It outscored the home team 20-7 to win the game. You tell me, if you're standing on the visiting sidelines and you see that, do you love it? No, you don't love it.
No.
Did it inspire you? Maybe. It'd be like, okay, let's make sure he doesn't do that to us again, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so, again, it was an electrifying moment from a guy, and the reason I tried to defend him in my head was he's been out of football. He has had to face his football mortality the way everybody does at some point. You had to face it. Like, is this the end?
Right.
At least you pretty much decided on your own, I can't do it anymore. The league looked like for a while it was deciding, Cam, we don't want you to do this anymore. So he had to look into the abyss of post-career. He had to worry about, what am I going to do with myself from here on? What if I don't have this game that I love? And out of nowhere, Sam Darnold falls on his face in Carolina, and all of a sudden they say, we got a problem here because we look bad with Sam Darnold. Let's go back and get Cam.
I mean, think about it, Skip. You throw the trash out, and then a year later, you go looking for that. You go looking for the trash. The
trash
trash that you right. So well, we don't need Cam.
Oh, maybe
I thought they should have kept Cam at the beginning, but we'll discuss that another day.
And that city and that stadium and that crowd was electrified yesterday when he came out in the pregame introduction out of the smoke and fire. It was spectacular, and they were on fire for what was about to happen. And he did throw one more great touchdown pass to little McCaffrey.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yep. And that put them back to 21-all. This is pretty sweet. That was actually his best throw of the game. Okay? So I buy that. He's never going to put up gaudy passing numbers like he did, remember, the first two games of his career. I don't know where they came from, but those were 400-yard days. And since then, that hadn't happened again. So he threw for 189, and I'm with you. I thought he was really good.
21 to 27, Skip. They ran the ball. But Washington did a great job of keeping them off the field, Skip. They had the ball 40 times for 190 yards.
Well, and it's 36 minutes to 24 minutes. So he didn't really have the ball very much.
So he might have had even better numbers had they could have gotten the ball back for it.
But little Tyler Taylor Heineke, that offense goes 8 of 15 on third down, and Cam went 3 of 12. Well, that's just not good enough.
That's the difference in the ball game.
That's it right there. You can sum it up.
You got to make plays on third down. You got to stay on the field.
Okay, and the 3 of 12 was actually third and fourth down. Okay, so 3 of 12, that won't work. So in the end, it was a great day for Cam without a conclusion because they lost. And the flashpoint moment was slamming it on the logo. And I'm sorry, I look back and I can read into this. You inspired the visiting team as much as you inspired your own team.
Exactly. But I mean, Skip, he was back. He was back home. Him getting in the end zone, the crowd is going crazy.
That's enough, right?
I would have thought so. But clearly that's not what he thought. But at the end of the day, Skip, for me is that, like I said, if he wanted to say, hey, guys, come on, let's go. We go into the center of the field.
Okay.
Because that's what I love that, and I'm glad the NFL don't deem that as taunting. When a guy get an interception, no matter what it is, they go way down, and they roll the balls, and they have these choreographed. I'm all for that, Skip. Because remember, Skip, before you couldn't celebrate as a team. Because your Cowboys got mad at the Fun Bunch. You remember the Fun Bunch used to do their thing? And I think it was Dennis Thurman that got in the middle.
Man, Dennis Thurman. He wanted to fight.
He did. He did. And so the NFL said, no more celebrating as a team. You can do what you need to do as an individual. Well, here we are now, about 4 or 5 years ago, Skip, they said, okay, you can celebrate as a team because you say this is the ultimate team game, but we can't celebrate with our team. So the NFL has allowed that. Had Cam, I would have been a little bit more accepting. I still wouldn't have liked it because, Skip, that's thought of. I like celebrations that's spontaneous. Yeah, okay, if you get the interception and, the Ocho Cinco and the T.O. with the pom-poms and all that stuff, I get that. But when you run way down to the logo and put the ball, that's too much for me. And I'm the kid. I love celebrations. But that's too much for me, though.
If it's too much for you, that's
too much for me.
All right, I hear that. No mercy. Congratulations to Nate in Nebraska, who won $100,000 of Jay Bradshaw's money in yesterday's Fox Bet Super 6 contest. If you missed out on the fun, don't worry. Download the app now and enter the Thanksgiving Challenge contest for your shot to win another $100,000. Don't miss out. It is free to play, and that would be fun to win some money around the holidays. Well, the Lakers beat the Pistons 121-116, but the big story of the night was LeBron being ejected in the third quarter after he threw a seemingly inadvertent elbow that bloodied the face of Detroit big man Isaiah Stewart. Stewart had to be restrained by teammates and arena officials and was also ejected from the game. And afterward, Anthony Davis defended LeBron for his role in the incident, saying, quote, "Everyone in the league knows LeBron is not a dirty guy." We're now joined by First Things First co-host Chris Broussard. Chris, was this dirty or not?
I don't think it was dirty, Jen, because I don't think it was intentional. All right, I think LeBron they were locked up. You could see their arms were locked up. And I think LeBron was trying to get away. Now, he was doing it with force. Like, I think he wanted to, get off me, like that type of thing. But I don't think he meant to hit him. Now, I've heard some people say they think LeBron meant to hit him, just not in the face. But think about it. If you want to hit somebody and send a message, you don't intend to hit them in the shoulder or hit them in the chest. You hit them in the face. So I don't think you can have one or the other. You can have both of those. So I think LeBron meant to get him off him, like with a message like, yo, get off. But I don't think he meant to hit him for two reasons. One, because this is LeBron's 19th year. And AD is right. He's never been known as a dirty player. And you guys know, you hear about guys from other players that have a reputation for being dirty. John Stockton, Chris Paul, Draymond Green, guys like that. Like, people know, he's got that reputation. Never heard that about LeBron. I don't see him starting that in his 19th year. And secondly, I just don't think that LeBron meant like, if you saw how he reacted, and AG mentioned it. As soon as Stewart hit the floor, LeBron's over there like, I guess like, my bad, you all right? I ain't mean to hit you. If you mean to send a message, like, let's say, has he been hitting LeBron during the game? Maybe he did something that got LeBron upset. If you hit somebody, then you don't go over there like, oh, man, my bad. You go over there like, what? I told you stop bumping me, like that type of thing. So for those reasons, I don't think it was intentional. And I think that Stewart just, once he saw the blood, because he wasn't going crazy at first, but once he saw the blood, I think that's when he panicked or lost it, and we saw what happened after that.
I agree with you, Chris. I don't think it was a dirty play. I don't think it was intentional, even though LeBron, that only matters to LeBron. But Isaiah Stewart was still leaking blood on the court, and I think that incensed him. And he had every right to be upset because I understand that, sometimes the game get a little bit physical. Some games are a little more physical than others. And LeBron trying to get him off, they're trying to fight for position at the free throw line. And we've all seen this. Chris, you've covered the game a long time. Sometimes elbows and hands inadvertently get caught. You catch somebody in the chin, you clip somebody on the side of the head, and they're like, bro, what's up? What's going on? Nah, bro, we fighting for position. LeBron deserved to get ejected. I don't think anybody can debate that. He deserved to get the flagrant 2. And Scott Foster immediately said it was a hostile act. Yeah, they go over there. Let's make sure we're not overreacting, because that is LeBron James. And like you said, Chris, he doesn't have a reputation of this. But I believe it was a hostile act. Let's go to the video review. And I tweeted at the time, I said, they're going to probably toss LeBron for this one. And he deserved to get tossed. But I don't think LeBron intentionally did it. I think they were fighting for position. They were jockeying for position. And his hand got his hand, because it was a back fist. I think he missed him with the elbow. Skip think he clipped him with the elbow. I think he caught it with his hand in the eye, and his hand came down and got the corner of his lip and split his lip open also. But for me, and obviously, anything that you put in slow motion, Skip, we see it all the time when they have a review. Man, that was P.I. Yeah, it's slow motion, but when it's bang, bang. But Scott Foster, to his credit, he said it was a hostile act. He saw it in real time, and he said that hostile act, obviously a flagrant 2. But Isaiah Stewart, LeBron was standing right there. He said, bro, my bad. Bro, you know I ain't mean to hit you in your eye. I ain't mean to hit you like that, bro. We fighting for position. Stewart was standing 1 foot away. He got his hands on LeBron. LeBron got his hands on him. He didn't do anything. The moment everybody come around and they grabbing him, let me go. Let me go. Bro, you was standing right there in front of him. Now, if he'd have took off on him, he probably gonna never play another game in the NBA. What Ron Artest got the rest of the year, like 50-something games, Skip? Well, if he's wrong on LeBron right there, he's not playing no more this year. It's gonna be a hard time getting back into the league, because a lot of people didn't want to touch Ron Artest. So with that situation, Skip, I'm gonna disagree with you. And from the earlier that you thought it was dirty, I didn't think it wasn't dirty. I didn't think it was a dirty play. I don't think it was intentional. I agree with Chris on that situation. Ejection, yes. Suspension forthcoming, I don't believe it's warranted.
You LeBron apologists just wear me out.
What are we apologizing for?
Obviously, that was no accident. Obviously, that's as intentional as it gets. I don't know. I'm just going with what I see, and I'm going to say what I see. LeBron's frustration spilled over in a flashpoint moment of anger, and it wasn't just your basic below-the-neck hand fighting at the free throw line. He lost it for 1 split second that split open the eye of Isaiah Stewart, and he did it by cocking back with a closed fist, and then he just let it fly, and I'm convinced it's almost quicker than the eye, because the elbow first catches the fleshy part above the eye, and it splits it. And then he continues on, and there's a forearm shiver across the face of one Isaiah Stewart, followed by a closed fist, backhand fist in the mouth. And I was surprised his lip wasn't cut. Maybe his tongue or lip was cut.
I think it was, Skip, because you see it in slow motion. It's like his fist came down and got the corner of his lip also.
I'm sorry, that's just no accident. And if it's a hostile act, it can't be unintentionally hostile. It was hostile. It was in that flashpoint moment, premeditated, in that he just drew back and said, I have had enough of you. I can't take it anymore, because this kid plays his tail off, and he plays over-emotional, and you can say he plays in the gray area, which he does. I get it. He's 6'9", 250. He boxed competitively in high school, and I think he's a bad you-know-what. And I think LeBron finally just said, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of this. It's 9:18 left in the third quarter, and you guys are beating our tails 79 to 67 by 12 points. And LeBron lost it for a moment that turned into Isaiah Stewart losing it for the next 10 minutes. And yeah, he didn't immediately attack LeBron because he was shell-shocked. He dropped to his knees for a second. He got smashed, man, right in the face. And then he got up, and LeBron is coming up to him. I'm LeBron James.
Okay, take off.
I'm the GOAT. I'm the face of the league. You know, it's okay, bro. It's okay. No, it's not okay. And the more Isaiah came to, I think he was a little concussed for a moment. And the more he came to, the more he thought, no, it's not okay. And it took all the King's horses and all the King's men to keep him away. It took all the coaching staff and all the team and some security people to restrain him, because I believe he wanted a piece of the King at that moment. And I believe if there hadn't been that kind of restraint, I believe if he'd gotten to the king, he would have swung on the king, and the king had to be ready to swing back.
Yeah.
And I think the king needed police protection to get to the bus if he didn't leave during the game.
If you don't mind me asking, so what would you consider an accident? So what is the term accident?
Okay, if you're not looking, but he looked right at him and he delivered. Again, if you're looking away, you're running away, and you throw back just to push a hand off and you accidentally catch him with the elbow in the jaw, that's a whole different scenario. This is, he looks at him. He looks and he fires on him because he was sick and tired of him. And he got him good. And Isaiah was ready to get him back good. He's 20 years of age. LeBron's in year 19, he's it. A lot of people wrongly actually think he's the greatest player ever.
So now, all of a sudden, like, as to Chris' point, in year 19, LeBron wants to prove he's a tough guy. He wants to fight now. He wants to be Oakley.
He wants to be lost it for 1 second. And obviously he has no track record of this. He has no reputation. But that doesn't absolve him of blame.
Skip, he got tossed.
Yeah, and they tossed him fast, man, because this was a hostile act. This was excessive and unnecessary, above the shoulders contact.
All the things LeBron's encountered in his career. I mean, going against Ron Artest, and I get it, maybe he just ain't going to swing on Ron Artest like that. But all the players that have done things like this to LeBron, why all of a sudden, this one time, because he's never had a flagrant two or anything like this ever. Why in the world Isaiah Stewart? Why? And do you think LeBron would have done that and then gone over there like, hey, man, my bad? Or, unless LeBron was saying, yo, what? I told you stop bumping me. You've been hitting me all game. You know what?
Maybe he was. I don't know what he said.
He said, no, bro, my bad. I didn't mean to do it.
How do you know?
Because that's what AD said he said.
How does AD know?
He was right there.
No, he wasn't that close to it.
AD was there. AD was there.
Here's the thing, Skip. Chris, this is what we know. When somebody intentionally hard flagrant foul you, they foul you and walk away. Yeah, I did it, and what? I ain't asking no questions.
This is LeBron James. This is a lover, not a fighter.
You know, you got to picture, so he'll fight in that situation, right?
He lost it, man. For one split second, he lost it. I'm just telling you what my eyes are telling me.
Your eyes deceive you.
You cannot defend that.
Skip, your eyes were misty because the Cowboys lost. You couldn't see clearly. You all been crying all day.
Maybe he was upset because the Cowboys had lost.
He a Browns fan.
He's a Browns fan one day, then he's a Cowboys fan, and now he's a Rams fan. I can't keep up. And he couldn't keep up with Isaiah last night.
What's that song? Don't it make my misty eyes blue? Oh, brown eyes blue. But anyway, but you know what I'm saying, Skip, baby.
Go ahead and defend him.
Skip, nobody is defending him. I say Chris and I in agreement. LeBron should have been tossed from the ball game for a flagrant two. But what you're trying to do, you making it seem like, oh, he lost it. But Chris, what I can't understand, why would he lose it on a Sunday afternoon in Detroit?
That's exactly why. Because they were about to hit bottom. They were about to fall to 8-10 against the 4-11 Detroit Pistons. That's why.
Yeah, I'm with Shannon and Chris here. I don't think it was on purpose. I just don't think that's who LeBron is.
No mercy.
Despite throwing 4 touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers lost 34-31 to the Vikings. A bigger concern for Green Bay is Rodgers' health heading into the bye week. The reigning MVP talked about his lingering toe injury after the game. Take a listen.
I've had turf toe. It's a little worse than turf toe. I'm just going to have to get through the bye and hope I can get some healing over the bye week. Probably the same schedule next week. Was in a lot of pain. Went in at halftime early to get it checked out. It's very, very painful. Got stepped on in the first half, and that kind of activated all the symptoms I was having.
Okay, Shannon, were you okay with Aaron talking about his injury as kind of an excuse, really? For the
No, Skip. You know how I feel about this. Absolutely. So now Aaron Rodgers want to be forthcoming with information. Matt LaFleur said, why the hell couldn't you be misleading like you have been all summer long? Now all of a sudden you want to be truthful and bare your soul.
Thank you.
Why would you, Skip, There's a reason why teams do not like to disclose information. If it was left up to the teams, they would not disclose anything. The league makes you put people on the injury report. And basically, Coach Belichick will say, one time Coach Belichick put his entire roster on the injury report.
Okay. Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, it's the toe, it's worse than turf toe. I've had turf toe before. If I'm a D lineman, guess what? I'm trying to tackle you around your ankles. I'm trying to step on that toe since you told me that it's bothering you.
So what's suspicious about this is last week he called this a COVID injury. And then he said, as we just heard, that he got his toe stepped on yesterday and it activated the symptoms again. And I read speculation on the internet that these are COVID symptoms, COVID fallout, because
it hurts your toes?
Yeah, your toes, they get discolored and then they blister and they stay sore to the point of being very painful. And it kind of comes and goes.
But he's taking that horse medication. That should have cleared it wide on up.
My point is, and I don't know if this is true or not, but he keeps referring to it like it's a COVID symptom, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you got vaccinated when you should have, this wouldn't be happening right now because you wouldn't have this kind of fallout.
His doctor, Skip, he immunized. So immunized. Yeah, so what happened, all that concoction that you went to the specialist, your team of doctors, you should be good.
So he did lose the game yesterday, even though he played, I'll give you this, he played extremely well.
But First Cousins outdueled him.
Okay, in the end, he outdueled him. He
got the ball last.
He kind of outlucked him a little bit because there were a couple of plays. If we could see the first one.
The pick, you talking about Preston Smith.
I thought this was vintage Kirk Cousins because he throws it to Savage, and Savage just couldn't hang on to it.
I think you're talking about the early one.
Well, no, this is the one at the end of the game.
Yeah.
That just ends the game right there, and he just couldn't take it to the ground. And then Kirk threw another one to Thielen that should have been intercepted, and Thielen's like, whoops.
No, Rasul Douglas ran the route for him.
That's what I'm saying.
If he throws it where he's supposed to, this is a pick six. Look at this.
Six. I know. I got it.
And he threw it behind.
And Thielen's like, I caught it. Wait, I got this, and maybe I should run with it. Oh, okay. So Kirk got very lucky.
Remember, he threw one early in the game. Savage picked him, but Preston Smith went helmet to helmet with this, and so they said unnecessary roughness on the quarterback.
Okay, but because Aaron lost, now he's got to come with Baker Mayfield memorial excuses. You criticize Baker,
and I'm criticizing him. Now all of a sudden you want to be forthcoming. When you was vague as can be early in the year, now you want to talk about the toe, and it's an injury that you've had before, and all of a sudden it got stepped on in the first quarter, and it re-aggravated all the symptoms that would, stop this. Ain't nobody getting those symptoms. Play football. No. You should have kept your mouth shut as well as you kept your mouth shut about the other things. You pick and choose what you want to talk about. Because, like you say, it's your choice. You know what I'm saying? So you pick and choose what you want people to know.
No mercy. But this too, Tom Brady and the Bucs will look to avoid losing a third straight game as they host the Giants tonight. According to Fox Bet Sportsbook, Tampa is favored by 10.5 points against New York. So, Shannon, will this be a blowout or a down-to-the-wire battle?
You know what, Skip? I think eventually it will become a blowout. I think the thing is with the Giants, I think they try to keep it close earlier. But after putting the defense will show up early. The Giants defense, I like the Giants defense. But after three and out by your offense, Tom Brady will catch his rhythm, and I think they win this ball game comfortably.
Really? Yeah. Saquon is going to play. Giants are coming off their bye. Giants have won 2 of the last 3. They blew out Carolina at home. That was Sam Darnold. And they wiped out the Raiders pretty convincingly at home. And remember, they went to Mahomes, and they led 17-14 with 9 minutes left in that game. So to me, they're on a pretty impressive roll, and you get a week to regroup and go down to Tampa.
Man, you think Tom Brady going to lose 3 games in a row?
No, but I think they have been struggling on offense, and they still haven't found themselves.
Right.
So a 10.5 points is too many to give. I think it'll be a much closer game than 10.5.
So you say
7. Battle.
A battle.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know about all that balance, Skip.
Yeah.
But you know, at some point in time, Skip, you can't keep trotting that defense out there. The thing that the Giants did is that they were forcing the Chiefs to go 3 and out. It was giving the Giants an opportunity. You keep forcing the Giants going to be the ones going 3 and out. Okay. And Tom Brady
barely beat him up at Giants on a Thursday night last year.
That's
but he better.
Point.
Remember, Clark Chris ain't going to be much better.
I don't know if I see that happening. We'll be all over it tomorrow. Undisputed is back.
You better hope so.